Welcome back, Shop Rats. It's another Talk About It Tuesday, and today I'm going to share something a little bit different about part of what has made me just the way I am. No, it wasn't because my mom dropped me on my head, although she probably did. Let's watch the show intro. We'll see you in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 seconds. I'm Mike, and this is
My Cars Shop.
I spend a ton of time on the road for my day job, and I have a lot of time to think, and of course you see me do a lot of videos because I believe in doubling my efforts in anything I do. Well, today I'm here just doing a little straightening, believe it or not. I had some meetings today that got canceled, and I was kind of in limbo, so decided today was a day to come out here and just try to clean off some flat surfaces so I have someplace else to put more crap, because when the flat surfaces are full, you don't have a place to put things. So got to hurry up and get it cleaned up so we can fill it up again. But anyway, I have a lot of time to think while I'm on the road, and I realize that there's probably a couple of foundational things about why I do things the way that I do that I don't think I've shared on the channel before. And if I have, I apologize, but I'm going to share it anyway. So, if you don't want to watch, that's okay. From the time I was a kid, I was always kind of a trash digger. Always looking for cool stuff that other people threw out that I could take home and fix. I used to hit thrift stores and things like that and look for stuff that needed to be repaired. Record players and radios and hair dryers, and I don't know, I just like fixing stuff. Some of that included old lawnmowers and lawnmower engines and stuff like that. I know I always wanted to make a go-kart. I actually never got one done until I was about 15 years old, but from the time I was probably 8 or 9, that was a dream that I had. So it was very poignant and real to me as I was thinking about it when it came to how I choose to restore cars, that it's just a natural outflow of who I've always been. I really did grow up working on a lot of stuff, motorcycles and go-karts and mini bikes and lawnmowers, and always trying to make something run and make something out of nothing. Of course, at the time, I didn't know any other way because I certainly didn't have any money when I was a kid, but it naturally kind of led me down the path of doing what I did. So as I moved forward in life, and after I had built several cars for myself and had gone to tech school and things like that, lo and behold, while I was in college, I ended up working in a hot rod shop where we did a lot of different things because hot rods. So you notice that if you've been around the channel for a while, you know that I have a 47 Ford street rod. I'm an 80s guy, so a street rod, not a hot rod, a street rod. And it's built very much in the style of an 80s street rod with the aluminum wheels and a small block Chevy. And I did use an old straight axle, drop axle on the front of that. And it's got a Nova rear end in it and the turbo 350 transmission. Well, you've seen the car. There's a bunch of episodes on it. But that's the kind of stuff that I really did early on in my career working in the hot rod shop. And back in those days, a lot of stuff wasn't available to be fixing those cars, so we had to make it all. I also learned the value of context in that era because some of the stuff we worked on was pretty high dollar stuff. I remember being 19 or 20 years old and working on a 57 Chevy that was absolutely a perfect black 57 Chevy. It was built. Car was gorgeous. Even in those days, the car was worth 50 grand or so. And I remember working on that car and thinking, man, I can't believe that here I am, 19, 20 years old in college as a student, and I'm getting to work on this kind of stuff. It was really awesome. My point in saying that is, in that context and moving forward in life, I learned how to make a lot of stuff, and I also learned how to install purchased parts. And that really lent itself well to me as I moved forward and worked in body shops. I've worked on the six-figure cars. I've worked on $500, I'm not pointing at this truck, but I've worked on the $500 cars, like the Stitches Challenger. I paid $300 for that car. Oh, everything always has a context, and the biggest context, as you've heard me say, are the things that I can do to challenge me and to stretch my abilities. But as I was thinking about this, as I was driving, I realized how I got this way was because of the way I was raised, because of the things that always interested me. The things that I naturally gravitate to is taking junk and turning them into
polished metal miracles.
And you don't have to do that on a huge budget. My buddy Chris and I have been actually talking today about some really unique things that we're going to be able to hopefully do and demonstrate to you guys on how to maybe cast some trim parts and things like that out of either soft metal or aluminum. We're still not sure, but we're working on some ideas. And the whole point of this channel is to showcase some of those things to get you thinking differently. Now, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm finding more and more, like I've been looking for one of those ABS slip-on dash covers for the Challenger, or a decently good used dash pad for the Challenger. And as far as new parts, everything is not available. It's on back order, 6 months to a year out before we can receive it. That's just the reality of the world that we're living in, and that can be frustrating, but to me it's kind of exciting, because if I can't get it, I'm going to figure out a way how to make it. That's what I naturally gravitate to. You know, you've heard me say it before. Some people say, why would you make that when you can buy it? To which I say, why would you buy that when you can make it? Now, neither way is right nor wrong. That's not the point. But that's what I naturally think about. The first thing I look at is, I can make that. Ooh, I can make that. I can make that. Ooh, I'd like to try to make that. And it may not be perfect, but the fact is, I did attempt it and probably succeeded, because there's not very many things that I've taken on that I've gone, well, that didn't work. Sometimes I have to make things twice. I really have grown up in a very unique situation, working on very unique projects. Many old cars like this where you have to make stuff. Many cars from the 30s and the 40s where you have to make stuff. A lot of hot rods. You know, things became a little bit better in the 90s and early 2000s with availability of stuff. But, you know, even back a ways, there's still a lot of stuff that you couldn't get that you would have to fabricate or make. When I did my 31 Ford, I bought very little for that car. I don't think I bought any panels for that car. It didn't need a lot, but a few things, and I just made them because it wouldn't even occur to me to not make them. That's what I naturally gravitate towards doing. And as I thought about that as I was traveling this last week, I thought it's worth sharing that working on this old stuff, working around old school guys, working in a hot rod shop that was pretty much an old school hot rod shop where I learned how to do a lot of things and develop skills like leading panels and fabricating and engine building and stuff like that, has really contributed to what I do here on the channel and here
at My Car's shop.
Everybody has a unique story, and I would love to hear yours. Drop it down there in the comments. What got you to be the way that you are? Remember, around here, we don't say there's a right or a wrong way. There's just your way. And I'm sharing my way. And I'm hopeful that what we do here can inspire you to think differently, or to say, absolutely, I would never do it that way. And that's fine, because you still came to a conclusion and you learned something. It doesn't have to be what I'm teaching. You still learned something. And that's what's important here to me. So I'm going to get back to cleaning up my mess, but I thought it was a good little Talk About It Tuesday episode to say, you know, the foundations of how I approach everything here in the shop really does come from the old school stuff, way back in the day. I started working on this stuff, you know, way back in the 70s, and didn't start working on cars until a little bit later than that. But I even that 47 Ford I actually worked on when I was a kid. I worked on it with the guy that owned it, and I was probably, you know, 10 years old. What was I doing? Being annoying, getting in the way, and probably handing him a screwdriver when he needed it. But the fact is, I worked on that car 46 years ago. Wow, that's a long time ago. I'm getting old.
Really old.
We really are the sum of our life experiences. And as I thought about that, as I've already said, remembering that I worked on all this old iron stuff way back in the day really has laid a foundation for the way I still do things today. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We're over on the Face thing, / My Car Shop. We're on the You thing. We're here. Like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. Tell other people. The biggest thing you can do is spread the word about the channel. That's a huge help to us. We're on Instant Grandma. She loves us. She gives us cookies. And one more thing, if you're new to the channel, it's important. And we ask that everybody take this with you from this point forward in your life and apply it, because it changes everything. Rock!